welcome to the Tarot Cottage. My name is Amy. I'm back today with a pick a card reading for you. Welcome to my returning subscribers. Thank you guys so much for being here. A big thank you to everybody who has dropped comments below my readings this month. I'm going to be drawing a name today, so please be sure to drop your comments, hit your notification bell, hit your like button. It helps me to bring you guys more content, and then it helps me to actually contact you if you're notified the winner as well, and we can get the ball rolling. If you have found yourself here for the first time, please join us. I do pick a card readings on this channel, so pull up and get cozy. We're going to have a little chat because we're all friends when we gather around this table. For today's topic, we're looking at the person on your mind and what were they thinking and feeling the last time that they saw you. So maybe there was contact, maybe there wasn't, but the last time that this person saw you, what was going through their mind and what was going through their heart in connection to you. We have 3 piles to choose from today. Pile number 1 here with the Empress and the yellow flower. Pile number 2 with the Sun and the blue flower. And pile number 3 with the Devil energy and the white flower. So whichever pile or piles are calling out to you, there may be a message waiting today. I'm going to jump right into pile number 1. Again, we're looking at the connection on your mind and the last time that they saw you, what was going through their mind, what was going through their heart in connection to you. Pile number 1. Hello, pile number 1. You were drawn to the little yellow flower and to the Empress card, and this is your reading. What was your person thinking and feeling about you the last time that they saw you? Now, first of all, there's something very beautiful and alluring and mysterious about this particular Empress card. This is from the Sante Morte Book of the Dead Tarot, and she's hiding behind a fan. So perhaps there was no contact the last time that they saw you because they thought that you looked really, really good, and they thought that you were kind of acting mysterious or you didn't reveal a lot to them in that moment. So they could have seen you perhaps from afar. You can see she's sitting on a beautiful red throne of empowerment. So they could have kind of caught you in your element. You perhaps were with other people, or you just were looking really, really abundant. They thought that you looked incredible that day. But I get the feeling of not being able to approach you because of that fan. It's like a veil or a shield between the two of you. I'm also getting a message for someone very specific that they may have seen you while you were at work. But regardless, you were looking amazing that day. So let's take a look here and see. What were they thinking and feeling about you the last time that they saw you? For pile number 1, please. We have the 9 of Swords. So we're starting out the reading with a very sort of strong energy surrounding overthinking. You made them really nervous in that moment the last time they saw you. You may have caught them off guard. And I feel like there's an aspect of dreams associated with you as well. So it's like they could have been dreaming about you and then they saw you. It caught them off guard. And they are nervous around you. We have the 4 of Swords. We have the 10 of Cups. And in this deck, it's called the 10 of Emotions. We have the Lovers. There was something very revealing about the last time that they saw you. And yeah, there's the Moon reverse. There was something very revealing about the last time they saw you, and that's why they didn't approach. I feel like they really wanted to approach you in that moment, but you may not have been alone. And I feel like it was like a very strong energy towards revelations that are really great for you, but are stinging for them. I'm getting a sense of partnership or abundance. You may not have been alone in that moment. We have the Lovers here, so you could have been perhaps with a partner in that moment as well. But what did that moment really define for your person was a revelation. Revelation about your position perhaps, revelation about their feelings as well, because something was revealed in that moment. And I feel like they have been dreaming about you a lot, but their dreams didn't encompass this scenario of seeing you in the flesh the way that they saw you. We can see the 8 of Wands, and it looks like somebody in stiletto heels charging through the desert. And I think about the Divine Feminine really kind of leading and charging through and finding her empowerment, finding her place in the world. And so it feels like they are seeing a new and improved version of you or something in that moment. like they saw you in a new light. They saw you in the capacity of your job, or they saw you in the capacity of a relationship, or they saw you in the capacity with a family. And they were just, it was very revealing for them. I feel like it stung them a little bit. I feel like it hurt, because the Four of Swords is them having to retreat and not being able to perhaps approach you. But even though they weren't able to approach you in that moment, there is still a very strong aspect of learning in that moment. Despite no communication, perhaps, it was still very revealing. What they saw. There is something about you almost being smug in your position in that moment. I feel like you saw them too. You have the Hanged Man reversed. Because whatever they saw, the last time that they saw you, it really thrust them into a feeling of victim mentality. It's like they were really licking their own wounds and feeling really bad about themselves, so to speak. They may have seen you again in the capacity of your job with the Hierophant in a really strong position. Or they may have seen you within the partnership of a relationship. That could be the dynamics of which they saw you. They just saw you secured. They saw you feeling confident. They saw you looking amazing as well. And first of all, they may have been concerned about how they looked because they were caught off guard. They didn't plan to run into you that day, or they didn't plan to see you that day, but they thought that you were looking amazing, and they're prioritizing your position and how much strength it offers you, how much stability it offers you. And it thrusts them into a bit of a victim mentality, because it was very revealing. And if they had any qualms about your position in life, or they had any qualms about how happy you seemed in that moment, I feel like those were distinguished, or they were just completely removed. Because at least in that moment, what they observed of you is that you're feeling very abundant, and that you're looking very abundant, and you're experiencing a lot of happiness in your life. But it's almost like your abundance equals their burdens. You know, and truthfully, they may not have had a full spectrum of true visualizations of how you're actually feeling in that environment. That's just their perception. And it's being fueled by their overthinking. They may not have an actual full spectrum of how you feel in that environment, but from the outside, it looked really good. And it's like your abundance means their burden. And it feels like they don't want you to be happy. They really do want you to be happy. They just wish that you could be happy with them instead of anybody else. They were really jealous when they saw you last, pile one. Very jealous with your position, jealous of a person that you may have been with. You may have been with another person with a divine masculine energy. Really jealous of that person, but didn't follow through with anything. I feel like it was an unsatisfying moment for them that kind of put them in their own head ever since. And I also feel like, to be honest with you, the divine feminine here not feeling as abundant as this person perceives of you in that moment, because here's the Lovers reverse. They didn't offer, they thought that it was all revealed to them, but it wasn't the full spectrum of what you were experiencing in that moment. Here is the Chariot, and there's the Three of Swords. So the last time that they saw you, in fact, for someone watching, and this is very specific, you could have been in a vehicle and in transit, traveling in some way. Maybe there was a bus, some type of vehicle could have been involved. But most importantly about the Chariot, it's about movement. And they saw you moving forward, and that caused them some heartbreak, if I'm honest. I hate to say that, but it's true. It caused them some disappointment. Not that you're happy, but that they see you moving on and happy without them, perhaps, because your movement equals their prison sentence, so to speak. It's like they got thrusted into a rumination cycle ever since. And I feel like they've been thinking about that moment quite a bit ever since. Thinking about your position, thinking about how satisfied you are. And this moment of seeing you out of the blue that was not expected, spirits say, could have initiated a bit of an impulse to watch you online, or to keep tabs on you online as well. So please take that as it resonates. What were they thinking and feeling for this the last time they saw pile number one? We have here a fiery climax approaches. And I feel like they felt the impulsion to walk towards you. The Eight of Wands really speaks about a pressure that was building. it's almost like they felt like this was a serendipitous event as well, but it didn't play out as smoothly as a serendipitous event is supposed to play out for them, because they're now feeling like a victim in the situation. We have here communication is key. It's coming in reverse because I don't feel like the two of you had a chance to have a communication, and if you did, I feel like it was very light. It was very on the surface, and I think that they can't let go of that moment, because it's almost because they're highlighting the 13, the death energy for me with the 9 and the 4, and they're saying that moment, it was very transformative. It highlighted a state of inertia. We have here your dreams need a practical plan, and it highlighted the obstacles that are getting in the way of your connection moving forward if the two of you were to choose that path here. But what it also did was ignite a brand new cycle. If this person was still holding on and they were perhaps moving towards clearance, all it did was ignite new flame. A new romantic cycle begins for this person. And it's all because of this new moon in Libra. It looks like an eclipse. Despite that there was no real conversations between the two of you, it still initiated a new cycle for this person. But I also feel like there's a lot of complications getting in the way as well. What were their thoughts and feelings, please, the last time they saw pile number 1? It says here, I couldn't catch you because I felt too, the 16 reverse, and I can't make up my mind. And so they really wanted, I feel like they'd almost had these plans surrounding you and surrounding taking action in these fantasies that they've had if they ever crossed your path or if they got a chance to see you. It didn't play out the way that they wanted. And they couldn't take the initiative because they didn't want to create any upheaval in your life in that moment. It says, I'm focused on me right now, but they felt instantly attracted. And part of them just wanted to throw caution to the wind and say, I don't care what the consequences are. I'm just going to go forward. I'm going to see what they have to say. And I feel like that's their state right now. It's really focusing on themselves, using you as a little bit of fuel for fantasy. And they were tired of holding back, but I feel like they had to. We have here, I heart you, the King of Cups. It could be a Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. It says, in that moment, I was so unfair to you. There's a justice aspect and the fear of them walking through those pillars. It's like walking through my truth and telling you my truth. What are the cause and effects of my actions if I do so? And so they felt like it was just an unfair scenario across the board. So I'm trying to find my other little deck of written cards there. I was trying to go at it blind. We're very official here at the Tarot Cottage. This is what I keep some of my written cards in. Red is my favorite color though. What were they thinking and feeling the last time they saw you? I'm not going to make it. It's like, I don't know if I can handle this, if I can handle this rumination cycle. Feeling really jealous in that moment, kind of feeling overwhelmed by it in that moment. I'm trying to decide what to do. So when they saw you the last time, pile one, they were anxious to say something. They did feel the pressure to communicate, but then they held themselves back. They took a moment to sort of decipher whether or not they should approach you because they were very curious about you. But they were also secretly terrified about what reaction they would receive. I dream about you all the time. And in that moment, it almost felt like they had conjured you up because of those dreams. It was very... It took them off guard, I feel. And I feel like that's why they were disappointed in the scenario or with your company. We have, I'm so sorry. If they acted unbothered or act like they didn't care, they would like to apologize. Somehow I'm going to make this happen. All it did was reignite a flame. It reignited something for you, pile one. I can't decide what to do, so they just held back completely. And now it says here on the back of the deck, I can see you, I'm watching. And ever since that moment, it's almost like it ignited a bit of an addictive cycle with this person. And now they are perhaps watching your social media. So please take that as it resonates. Pile number one, this person, you left a huge impression on them in that moment. What have they been thinking about since the last time you saw them? The Nine of Pentacles visit. The Nine of Pentacles in the reverse. Oh, we have 4. They were thinking about you uprooting. They were thinking about decisions relating to relationships and choices that they made, choices that the two of you both made, obstacles in the way now in regards to third party as well, wishing that they could just return to the world, or that you would want to return to the world with them. And this Nine of Pentacles reversed, there's a lot of jealousy surrounding your position and your partnerships right now that was going through their mind. But they're really overthinking. They're going through an overthinking cycle. We have here I heard there's no I in team. We have you, I, and you. It's like there was a lot of people in the room, but only the two of you existed in that moment. We do have the Seven of Cups, so confusion. We have I love my cat. I think about strength energy, actually. I think about Leo. We do have the watermelon. I think of attraction and do as you would be done by. Almost too simple, but it's all you need to get by, but it's reversed. So they didn't act towards you the way that they wanted you to act towards them. We have charming Libra. We have Pisces and somebody who's afraid to trust their intuition. We have a forget-me-not. And we also have here the cherries. I think about physical drive and the desire for innocence to be broken. We also have 2 sets of baby feet. So you could have been, and this is just for someone specific, you could have been with your children. We have here loyalty. They wonder how loyal you are to that environment. We have believe in love. We have a frog, which is talking about clearance and evolution. I think about moving from the tadpole into the frog and looking at things from a higher perspective with the Pegasus and being pulled in different directions. Pile number 1, that's what I have for you today. I hope it resonates with you. If it did, drop your comment below for a chance to win a free reading with me. Be sure to hit your notification bell if you do so. You can also check out my links for Etsy for a personal reading if you feel called to, and that link is below. But I hope you come back and visit me at the Tarot Cottage, and I hope you have a great day. Hello, pile number 2. You were drawn to the little blue flower or to the Sun card, and this is your reading. The person on your mind, what did they think and feel the last time that they saw you? Now, the Sun card here is all about revelations. It's about abundance and joy as well. So they perhaps had this moment of joy. It may have been a little bit fleeting, only because we have these 2 little skeletons down here, which is a symbol of reality and grief, and they're both holding this acoustic guitar, and it's sort of off kilter for me. So whenever I see these 2 guitars, I think of the 2 of Pentacles, and I think about eventual energy, and how it kind of threw them a little bit off balance. Although it was revealing, it threw them off balance, and although it was perhaps very welcomed, it still kind of threw them off guard. So they may have been surprised by this meeting. Maybe it wasn't a planned energy. But I keep focusing on this little bird too, somebody who wants to leap into action. So let's take a look here and see. I'm going to use the Cat Tarot for you today. What were they thinking and feeling the last time that they saw pile number 2, please? Now you could be a Leo energy. You don't have to be, of course, but I always think of Leo when I see the Sun card. We have the Knight of Cups. We have the Page of Pentacles. What's interesting about, I'm looking at this cat and it almost looks cross-eyed, this cat, and there's like a message surrounding that, but I'm going to get to there. It's like being at a crossroads, Spirit says. And up here in the Page of Pentacles, yes, there was opportunity, but then there was this little pentacle. I think of the 5 of Pentacles, and I think of the full spectrum. It's almost like it gave them an opportunity in that moment, and they realized it to say something that they had kept back, or to proclaim something that they had not said to you. But then we're starting with the Knight of Cups, and look how he's sticking his head in that bowl. It has a mask on the bowl, so it's like putting a mask on and sticking my head in the sand, even though I am getting the opportunity to be vocal. I'm getting the opportunity to offer you more clarity. It's like they knew that this was an important opportunity, an important crossroads. Yeah, there's the 3 of Pentacles. And this cat is using its strength to chew its way out of a box, chew its way out of this cube, a symbol of the root chakra and their fear of security being affected. Their fear of how they're going to be received if they did take advantage of the opportunity to speak to you. You have the Ace of Cups. You have the Three of Cups. And it feels like almost like a reunion with a friend. Maybe you guys didn't move into a romantic cycle, but it feels like a reunion with a friend. We have the Hierophant and we have the Tower. Now, what's interesting is that, as I said, the Sun is all about revelation sometimes and clarity, and the Tower can be very clarifying at times, like a bolt of lightning in the dark to light up the truth. And here we have the Hierophant. You can see this cat is missing an eye. You know, it's talking about the evolution that we go through, both in the practical sense and the spiritual sense, and how we sometimes struggle. Sometimes we lose practical things on the way to that ascension or to that position of clarity. And now sometimes I can't ignore the fact that the Tower, the Hierophant, there's the Knight of Wands, that there could be commitment cycles for someone involved, and that could be why there's this eventual energy, because there is a obstacle in the way of the reunion, or an obstacle in the way of really being able to allow that reunion to move into something more. Now, part of this obstacle could be them and their positions and their commitment cycles, because they're recognizing in that moment that there is still a spark between the two of you, or that there's more here than just friendship that meets the eye. Because I feel like there could have been conversation here that was very revealing in nature. And maybe this person was putting forward their best foot forward, like they were wearing shiny armor and they were being really complimentary, and they were just, it was a great conversation perhaps, but they were hiding an emotional vulnerability that they were feeling. They were hiding the truth that they were at this crossroads, and they felt like they were having to figure out how to build upon this foundation now, to chew themselves out of perhaps a foundation or a box that had kept them safe, and now they have to find a way out of that in order to achieve more in your connection, which brings us to the Tower energy, brings us to this Knight of Wands, because it tempted them. Look at the little toy twitching, making the cat want to do something impulsive and do something risky at that moment when it comes to perhaps commitment cycles. So please take that as it resonates to your situation. That may not resonate with everyone, but please take it as it resonates to your situation, because it requires careful handling. And that's why perhaps there's the reality of the 3D situation that stings a little bit. Why this sun, which is very abundant and joy-filled, is also shaped like a skull, because there is a reality that gets in the way of the joy. And joy and grief can exist in the same time, and I feel like there was a very joyful aspect of the reunion, because I feel like the reunion, seeing you again, I feel like they really enjoyed the conversation if you had one, but it made them realize that it's not over. The extra information that they received from you made them realize that perhaps it wasn't over for you either. It was very revealing. We have the Hierophant, and we also have the Six of Wands. I do feel like this person, the last time that you saw them, I feel like they were wearing a really heavy mask, and they were acting really confident about their position and your position. Like they were acting happy for you, and you were acting happy for them. When their mind was going, it's like their eyes were going crossed, and they were trying to think of solutions on how they can create more in your environment with you. There's the Emperor. I almost feel like there's an aspect to the military here for someone, so please take that as it resonates. I feel like this could have been a friend from the past that maybe has grown and moved into the military, or I'm just getting a sense of protection surrounding this person. Very strong Taurus energy, really strong protective vibes. It's like I heard they were a soldier, or they've been through many wars. And this could be literal, or this could be figurative in nature. They could have gone through a lot of emotional wars in the past. But for someone watching, they could be some type of... you could work, like, I don't know, the Army, Marines. You have the Ten of Swords. The last time that they saw you, pal, too, they really had to figure out a new plan of action. This Ten of Swords is talking about somebody who had a plan, and maybe they invested in a plan, but seeing you again changed that plan, or in the very least made them consider changing some type of plan. And I will say that this person has had, I don't know if it's a crush on you or their ego transfixed upon you for a really long time leading up to this opportunity. But the information that was exchanged, while it should have kind of put a fork in any plans they would have had to ascend with you, it didn't do that. it didn't do that, because although this person is guarding something practical, this emotion that's trickling in on the side of the card is also speaking about the emotion that's still intact for you. They are overthinking about the impression that they left you in that moment. It's like they're worried if they were acting sloppy or how they sounded. It's like that they sound stupid. They're really going over in their mindset what their ways in which they felt like they disappointed themselves in that interaction. They were feeling exceptionally curious about you, but it's not just physical. This person's emotionally attached to you too. But again, it feels like a friendship where they kind of felt like they were friend zoned, and they've always had this spark for you. This drive, this thirst. And even though there's been evolution, I feel like there's been perhaps a couple of years, because there's been evolution from this page moving into the Emperor energy. And I just heard sharpening my nails. It's almost like they're preparing for a fight or something. We have the Six of Pentacles here with the Strength. And back of the deck is the Queen of Cups and the Fool. Oh my goodness. Now the Queen of Cups can be a motherhood energy, so perhaps somebody in this connection has children, or maybe you were with children at the time as well. I feel like it would have stung them to see you in that capacity, because there's an aspect of you shifting and changing to a new different person, and not being by your side to watch those changes happening, because there's a lot of risk associated with this reunion. But I also feel like thoughts about this reunion now are their constant companion, Spirit says. I will say that for someone watching, this reunion seems to compete with our focus towards a karmic relationship, perhaps. And I definitely feel like there is an aspect of having to tame their strength during the conversation. So it's like the conversation may have started out really one-sided, especially when there was a shift, when there was a revelation, because they're talking about a beggar mentality versus somebody who was in control of the conversation. And that could have been them putting on really heavy masks, trying to make sure that they seemed confident, they seemed self-assured, they seemed happy in their environment as well. What were they thinking and feeling, please, the last time they saw pile number 2? We have here, you're very close to achieving your goal. And we have here, nothing will come of this situation. And that's really kind of like the Ten of Swords. It's like they've been working on a foundation, and they were considering that foundation. And now they're also considering the goals that they had with you. And they're kind of on the fence about what to do now about these goals. It's like, do I release this cycle and expectations towards you? Or do I release a foundation that I've already been applying force towards? And you can see this cat is chewing themselves out of that box. We also have here, emotions are running super high in that moment. And we have luck is on your side. New moon in Sagittarius. I feel like they were so happy to see you. It was like a serendipitous event that was in their favor. They were so happy to see you. The emotions were really, really abundant. But it's like whatever goes up must come down, Spirit says. And I feel like there was a huge fall because there were so many masks that were flooding us with these emotions that were running. What are they thinking and feeling the last time they saw you, please? That you deserve love. They held back. I think this card came out in pile 1 too. That they held back, but that you do deserve love. And it was hard for them to hold back, I feel. Whoops. We have heart-to-heart conversations are needed. They feel like you should honestly discuss your feelings with each other, because these feelings are very real and they're worth exploring. And I feel like these feelings were in place in the past, in a friendship as well. What were they thinking and feeling, please, the last time that they saw pile number 2? At last they see the light. It was very clarifying because the two of you were able to catch each other up on perhaps what has been going on. We have you are my everything. I do think about the Ten of Pentacles, and I think about the Ten of Cups. I think about family units. I would do anything for you, ... but I won't do that. I think about that song by Meatloaf. I would do anything for love, but I won't do that. And the Ten of Cups talks about full spectrum regarding relationships, family, investments. But there was a lot of secrets between the two of you in that moment. Despite a lot of clarity that was being issued, you guys weren't expressing your true feelings. You were both lying to each other, during that moment. They wish that they could hold you, and they wish that they could be physical with you or give you a hug or something, and they just felt awkward, or they felt like it wasn't appropriate. But here's the Ace of Cups. A new emotional sequence begins. It says here, emotions were running high. Back of the deck says you're so very special. It's the World reversed. So unfinished cycles, and that's really what it highlighted to this person, was unfinished cycles between the two of you. What were they thinking and feeling, please? The last time they saw pile number 2. I'm so focused on my priorities right now. That could have been what they communicated to you about all of their priorities. They could have communicated to you about their job and their relationships and everything that they've gained. But let's build together. That's what they were wishing. If the two of you have built separately, they're like, we could have had it all together. We could have built this all together. It took some time, but I do see things clearly now. And I want it to be me and you at the end of the day. Sleepless nights since that day as well. So perhaps dreaming of you, overthinking, thoughts of you being their constant companion. Because you are my secret wish. But I just saw hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. So they could be concerned about another person. And anger cycles. This is painful. And I want you to be happy, are you? Oh, they do care about you quite a bit here. I just saw nothing brings me peace. On the back of the deck, it says, you're all grown up now. And that's what it feels like a catch up with a friend. It's like you both evolved into such beautiful places, but it feels like it was like a melancholy type of feeling afterwards. It's like bittersweet. Let's get a charm bowl, please, for pile number 2. What was their last thought regarding this by chance meeting? The last time they saw you. 6 of Cups, friendship, feeling a little bit traitorous though about their current feelings for you. It's like feeling like a traitor in their own environment, feeling like a victim when it comes to your connection, wanting to protect it, but knowing that they have to guard themselves against it almost because of the emotional pull that you represent, and just really nostalgic surrounding you. You guys may have reminisced about the past a lot. You may have conversed about the past too. And this person was just thinking about everything that you guys have talked about and how they're just trying to find the balance within the journey now. It kind of threw them off course. And now that balance has to be reestablished. We have here the World with the marble. We also have the Divine Feminine with the ring around it, I think of commitment cycles for the Divine Feminine. We have an Eiffel Tower falling over, so they were perhaps worried about that. We do have watermelon. And we have in, I think of like the in crowd. We have the Star of Aquarius here multiple times, along with the starfish of regrouping, rehealing, journey to wholeness. We have persistence and strength. And we do have a strawberry, I think of Aquarius energy, and I think of the summertime. And a bird in flight, so you may hear from this person. All right, pile 2, that's what I have for you today. I hope that it resonates with you. If it did, drop your comment below for a chance to win a free reading with me. You can also check out my links below for Etsy for a personal reading if you feel called to. But I hope that you come and visit me at the Tarot Cottage, and I hope you have a great day. Hello, pile number 3. You were drawn to the white cream flower or to the Devil card, and this is your reading. What was the person in your mind thinking and feeling the last time that they saw you? Now, the Devil, of course, is Capricorn energy, so you or this person could be a Capricorn, but look at how fiery this Devil is. It's all red, a symbol of empowerment, but also a symbol of desire. There's some men down here playing some acoustic energies. So it's like there was a lot that was unsaid in that moment, but a lot that was felt in that moment. And this definitely represents attraction and want and temptation, sometimes insecurity and attachments as well. So let's take a look here and see. Whoopsie. What were they thinking? Let me try to find a deck for you here. What were they thinking and feeling, please? The last time that they saw pile number 3. It's like very tempting, that Devil. We have the Five of Pentacles coming out here. What were they thinking, feeling the last time they saw pile number 3, please? The very first energy coming out here is the Five of Pentacles, the Two of Pentacles, the Four of Pentacles reversed. And this Five of Pentacles is about the loss and the duration of that loss as well. There was a lot of insecurity seeing you, and I feel like they were kind of on the fence about what to do about it. I feel like they might have seen you from afar, and it's like they almost felt like they had to chase you down or something. And they thought about taking action, like they really wanted to speak to you in that moment. Queen of Cups, Three of Cups. Now there's an emphasis on reunions and friendship with Three of Cups, but also flirtation cycles. They're talking about having somebody in this connection having their hands full in that moment as well. So maybe somebody was struggling with something. Maybe you had your hands full with kids, or maybe you had your hands full with other things. Maybe with friends. Maybe you were with a group of people. Because they felt insecure about approaching you. Because I feel like you weren't alone. Maybe you, yeah, I don't feel like you were completely alone. We have the Knight of Wands. Here's the King of Swords. They could be a Libra energy, Gemini or Aquarius. Here's the Page of Wands. They were instantaneously attracted to you in that moment. Like instantaneously attracted. And they wanted to just react. They wanted to be impulsive. They wanted to charge forward with some of that impulse. But it's like they wouldn't let themselves in that moment. Let me actually use this other small deck. They wouldn't let themselves in that moment, I don't feel. They were trying to be logical. They were holding on to the logical things. And they kept saying to themselves, if I do what I want to do, I'm going to lose a lot. That could mean that this person is in another connection, for instance. Maybe you are. It could be a collaboration, but you inspired action in them. But that action would have perhaps made a karmic relation take the way of the dodo. You can see with the Six of Pentacles, it's like it's bleeding. It's about what we give, we receive. But if I give here, I'm going to lose. I'm going to bleed something. I'm going to bleed money. I'm going to bleed position. And there's an emphasis on their position, on justice, so Libra energy. I feel like they really wanted to speak to you in that moment, but I feel like they let stress get in the way. And if they did speak to you, they felt like they had to defend themselves a little bit upon the consequences of that. Even here with the hedgehog or the porcupine, it's wearing mask. It's got all of these spikes on its back because it's like, I'm worried I'm going to get in trouble, or I'm worried that there's going to be some sort of dire consequence. And we have the Judgment. The truth is that they had everything they needed to approach you in that moment, and I feel like they didn't. And now they're really kind of kicking themselves. We have the Queen of Pentacles and we have the Three of Swords. And I feel like the Divine Feminine here is really disappointed that there was no real connection in that moment. Even if there was conversation, I feel like it was very on the surface. Maybe it was fleeting because it doesn't feel like it really got into any sort of detail here. And the truth is, in that moment, it really defined that the electricity was still there between the two of you. I feel like if there wasn't any conversation, the Divine Feminine and the Divine Masculine energies were catching eyes right across the room. I feel like there was almost even, you can see her cheeks are all red, an aspect of like blushing or like making it obvious that you were affected by that moment if you were the Divine Feminine. But we do have the Three of Swords, and there's the Star reversed. Now this Three of Swords is an apple, so very educational that moment, but it was also kind of limiting and disappointing. There are some similar vibes to pile number 1 actually here, because there's the Star reversed. It's like a crushed situation, a desire that came crashing down to earth because of a reality that they were facing. And this reality could be because of the Divine Feminine's position, or their position, or again, a combination of the two, but there was temptation associated with you in that moment. That's why the Page of Wands is here. That's why the Knight is here. That's why the Apple is here. But there, it's like the two of you were in similar situations, and on similar sort of paralleled journeys here. You can see that this King of Pentacles is dressed like the devil. So they could definitely be a Capricorn, and you can see that the opportunity, there's a teardrop within the opportunity. All of these lightning bolts is talking about the sudden nature of the opportunity that presented itself and how they were not prepared for that moment. You perhaps were not prepared either, but I feel like you both felt the electricity in that moment, but they relied on logic to hold themselves back from that temptation. But there was something kind of disappointing about the overall experience, because it made them feel like the possibilities with you are harder to achieve than they would really like to see achieved. And I will say that they're using that moment now as fuel for a lot of fantasy, and that's very similar to Pile 1 as well. This judgment, it's about somebody who's reflecting upon their actions in that moment. How did they act? How did they not act? And it's the purpose of the judgment is to bring us to solutions so that doesn't happen again. But this judgment, you can see that there's a mask being worn here. During this judgment, even though it's supposed to be informative for themselves, they're allowing this constant reflection of you to take them down that rabbit hole of fire. It's like they're fantasizing about you now at this point. Because it's easier to do that. It's easier to go into reflection periods and to have a good sort of expectation or a plan towards emotional awareness, but sometimes we distract ourselves with more positive aspects or more positive thoughts that are funner to have. And this person's really fantasizing about you in a very impulsive and physical way. Feels very risky. We have here, work through your fears, coming in the reversal. It is time to release negativity. And that really speaks to the King of Swords and the Devil, because the King of Swords is not afraid to be objective and to release anything that's holding them back from what they truly want or what they truly feel is meant for them. And so all they have to do is to face their fears and then speak their truth in order to release everything that's holding them back. And that's what they're really contemplating in this moment. Back of the deck says, a time to give rather than to take. And I feel like there's a bit of a back and forth war there, because if they give to you, they're taking from something else, perhaps. What were they thinking and feeling the last time they saw pile number 3, please? You have here, calling in your soulmate. Your prayers, affirmations, and visualizations help to bring you closer together. They may have felt like all of these thoughts of you, it's like almost like an addiction of thought towards you, that they felt like they conjured you up. We have flirtation, playfulness, wishing that they could recapture romance with you. And we have separation. Time apart from your partner is on the horizon. And I feel like that's what they're anticipating, that these attachments, these fears, these obstacles are still going to stay in place despite the curiosity that they have, despite the desire to go chasing after you, because there was a lot of attraction in that moment. And you attract more romantic love by enjoying this moment fully. Let's get a couple of thoughts from this person. What were they thinking, please, that moment that they saw pile number 3? What was going through their mind? You will hear from me soon. And they are feeling really impulsive when it comes to these thoughts of you. It could be tempting them in a very dangerous way. And if they give into that temptation, if there could be momentum here for you, pile 3, there could be some practical concerns. I do think about the future, and when I do, I think about you in it. I feel like this person is planning on making some sort of announcement to you since that moment. Oops. I am really sensitive deep down. I just put up a big front. So they pretended, they wore a lot of masks in that moment. They acted unbothered, I feel, in that moment. I've thought about you spending time with my family and I. So even if there are attachments, they think about the future and they think about you in it. Regardless of what those situations are. And I've been sending you messages in the 5D. Back of the deck says, I've looked into tarot readings and I've been astral projecting to you. So they could be on the same sort of spiritual wavelength that you find yourself in as well, pile 3. But let's use some of these little message cards. What are their current thoughts and feelings, please? The last time that they saw pile number 3, we have here, I've been meaning to tell you something, ... It's like, oh, I just forgot to tell you something. We will talk soon. Oh my goodness. I feel there's a lot of intention here for you, pile 3. So if this recently happened, especially for someone within the last 3 months, if that's you that I'm talking to, then you may expect to hear from this person. I am stuck in a karmic cycle. Perhaps with another person, and perhaps also in sort of with you. The attraction is way more than physical, but they are enjoying the fantasy of that physical attraction. But I'm playing the waiting game right now. I do want it to be me and you at the end of the day. Is the risk worth the reward? But I feel like they're going to take the risk for someone watching. It says you're all grown up now. And the back of the deck says, I want to start over. And they are fantasizing about starting over with you, pile 3. Let's get a charm bowl, please, for pile number 3. What was the very last thought that pile 3's person had about them in the bowl? We have the 3 of Swords, we have the King of Swords reversed, and the 2 of Wands. Everything's sort of in a pinwheel shape here, but the 2 of Wands is reversed as well as the King of Swords. And we have a very strong King of Swords energy here, so Libra, Gemini, Aquarius. They were thinking about frustrating delays, and they weren't thinking from a place of clarity. They were thinking from a place of heartbreak. And they might have been thinking of a place of frustrating physical energy too. So they weren't really thinking in a clear way, but they were kind of overwhelmed by thoughts of you. And it was disappointing and heartbreaking and frustrating for them because they feel like there's unfinished business with you. We have V and T, so TV. Maybe they saw you on TV, so please take that as it resonates. We have E, we have veteran. We have here the Queen of Wands, so somebody who was kept waiting, Leo, Aries, Sagittarius. We also have here a blank card, so creative accountability, somebody who's perhaps blaming themselves. We have the Divine Feminine, who's evolving and maturing and growing into perhaps abundance or womanhood. We have the Group of Grapes, I think of going out and having fun, and a turn of events in our favor. So it's like a turn of events, so surprise to see you. It really highlighted an unfinished cycle, though, and an unfinished transformation. And it says here, give a girl the right shoes and she can conquer the world. Marilyn Monroe with the screwdriver. And it's a painful energy. So you were looking really good. You were looking like a bombshell. That's what Spirit says. I always think of the bombshell with Marilyn Monroe. So you were looking amazing in that moment. The very essence of womanhood, perhaps. Right, pile 2, that's what I have for you, or pile 3, that's what I have for you today. I hope that it resonates with you. If it did, drop your comment below for a chance to win a free reading with me if you feel called to. Be sure to hit your notification bell if you do so, though, however, so I can notify you if you're chosen the winner. You can also check out my links for Etsy for a personal reading if you feel called to as well. And I just hope that you come back and visit me at the Tarot Cottage, and I hope you have a great day.